My name is Henry Martin and welcome back to Catching Dinosaurs. Today we're coming out of winter and the river temperatures are rising just a little bit, and I came out here and I haven't seen any gar roll, and I also got sunfish for bait. So I figured I would do a video today showing people how you can target catfish and alligator gar at the same time. Okay, right now I have my rigs set up for catfishing. And the reason why you can't use this for alligator gar is circle hooks just do not work very well for alligator gar. Sure, a couple get caught on them occasionally, but these just do not penetrate their mouth with any consistency. So the reason why you can't really just use a normal standard alligator gar rig is, first it has a treble hook, second it has wire. And catfish 9 times out of 10 are going to turn their nose up at that wire and they're going to swim on away. So let me show you a rig that'll work for both species. Alright, I'm rigged up and I'm going to explain what I did real quick. I might get rained on, which I'm not really dressed for, but it's all right. All right, so I have a 1/0 Gamakatsu live bait hook, and you might be asking why this little hook. Well, I use this to catch alligator gar. It works. It can actually catch almost anything. People catch 1,000-pound tuna on it, and it actually works really well for catfish. I have 300-pound hollow core leader out to about 4 foot, and I have slip floats on them, which are optional. I'm going to show you what I'm using real quick. I have beads for my slip float. I have Gamakatsu live bait 1/0 hooks, and I have Spro swivels 230 pound. Now let's go over how you attach this little hook to your bait so it can work for both catfish and alligator gar. Okay, in order to attach my bait to my hook, I need to take a bridle needle, which is also a mortician's needle. I need to take some rigging floss or braid. About 50 to 80 pound braid will work. Normally I'd cut these fins, but I don't have anything to do it with it right now. So I'm just gonna pierce this bait. I'm gonna run my rigging floss through. Okay, here comes the important part. We're gonna grab one side and we're gonna grab the other side of my little loop. We're gonna spin it a couple times and we're gonna go back underneath the loop. And there's kind of what I'm doing. I'm putting my little hook where it's flying on the outside of the bait fish, and this works really well. I couldn't catch any gizzard shad, which would be my preferred bait right now this time of year, but this will work for alligator gar and it'll work for flatheads and blues, so let's give it a shot. Okay, that was a pretty good cast there, and I'm just gonna back on off and put this in my kayak. I rigged up my second bait. Let's go ahead and throw this one on out. Again, 1/0 Gamakatsu live bait hook, little sunfish for bait. All right, I got 2 baits out, one with the orange float right here and another one with the yellow float right here. So I figured I'd give a little channel update while I'm sitting here waiting for a run. As far as the channel goes, if you look at my views, they're pretty dismal. I get like 200 to 500 views per video, and you know, that doesn't really feel that good to do a whole lot of work and not really get too much out of it, you know what I mean? But then when I really think about it and I look at my analytics and whatnot, the videos that get viewed are actually videos where I'm giving a lot of educational info, especially for catch and release. And when I really think about it, heck, if I had 200 people go into a cinema and watch one of my videos, it would be, you know, probably pretty awe-inspiring. So I think if I just change my perspective around it a little bit, it would probably be a little bit better off. So a couple things. I would really like to get my channel out of the shadow banned, whatever is going on with it. And I think the best way to do that is to make good videos, to connect with you guys in the comments, to ask y'all to leave comments, ask y'all to share the videos if I make videos that are helpful to you, helpful to your friends. Yeah, so I'm pretty much just gonna ask that if y'all have questions, let's talk in the comments. If you watch my videos and you enjoy them, like them, let me know, tell me in the comment. And yeah, let's see if we can break that shadow ban on YouTube. If I could get to where I was making a bunch of views again, for one, it would make it a lot easier for me to come out here and make a lot more content, because I would be getting paid for my efforts, you know, which to make these videos could take days, you know what I mean? Another thing is too, if I were actually getting views on my videos, I could affect conservation of the species in a far greater capacity. Like if I had every video getting 100,000 views every single time I talked about conservation, it would be, you know, world changing basically. And that's honestly my goal, is just to get to a point where I have a big enough reach to be able to change, you know, how people see conservation for alligator gar. And whenever I, you know, say my message, there's enough people seeing it to make it worth it. So like I said before, I'm gonna ask you guys to comment on my videos, to get in a conversation with me, ask me questions, like my videos, share them with a friend if they're helpful. And let's see if we can catch ourselves a big old fish here. I wanted to talk real quick about what baits you might want to use if you're going to target trophy catfish and alligator gar at the same time. This is going to change a little bit depending on your fishery and what sort of bait fish you have that's abundant. But for me, the three top choices would be gizzard shad, sunfish of all species, and river suckers like red horse sucker and carp suckers, all those. As far as the sunfish goes, it's interesting because it doesn't work everywhere, but there are some places where it works pretty well. Where I'm at right now is one of those places. So, you know, kind of fish your fishery and see if they'll eat it or not. In some places they won't. So I wanted to talk about why I decided to fish for catfish and gar today. Well, as far as the gar goes, obviously I've just been waiting for things to warm up so I could start fishing for them. I'm sure if I went a little bit more into select areas, I could definitely get them to bite, but I've been kind of waiting for it to happen right near me before I go too far away. So another reason is bait is pretty hard for me right now. I can get common carp, but I'm kind of just tired of fishing for them in general. And if I could get gizzard shad, then I would have probably already fished more for alligator gar than now. So one of the reasons why I decided to fish for catfish is it was full moon last night, and flatheads tend to eat pretty well during the full moon. And also about 2 weeks from now, last year, I was on flatheads pretty good in this river, so it felt like a reasonable idea to come out here and try to put it out. And I might sit out here a little after dark. I didn't bring a jacket, and I'm probably regretting that right about now because it's a little bit chilly. But yeah, so that's the main reasons why I'm decided to fish for catfish and gar at the same time. Mostly kill two birds with one stone, and honestly just kind of see what's going on with this river and see if it's going to warm up or not. It is at least 10-15 degrees warmer than it was 4 days ago when I tried. So all right, we got a float moving right here. It's going upriver. I don't know if that's, I'm not sure what that is, but we're gonna watch it. I don't think that's my bait. Alright, so my float went from about here to here. Pretty sure that's a pretty good fish. I'm guessing gar. I'm gonna let it run for a while. It's really cold, and if it is a gar, it's going really slowly, so it makes sense. Alright, I've been following this fish for about 2 minutes now. I went a decent way up the bank. I'm pretty sure this is an alligator gar. I've got the heebie-jeebies going. I'm kind of freaking out over it. I sat there for about 5 hours before I got this one run, so really don't want to mess it up, you know. Right. I've decided I'm going to go ahead and do it. Hold tight. Whatever it is, it's decent. It is a flathead. He's so pretty. Oh wow, look at him, he's so pretty. So I got this really beautiful little flathead. He's not very big, I know he's not very impressive, but he is really pretty. And for being winter, I mean, I'm shivering, I'm cold. For being winter, not too bad. And hey, you can see my 300-pound hollow core leader in his mouth. And yeah, you know, could have easily been a gar, could have caught the gar, instead I got the catfish. Awesome. Since I'm not out here because I'm hungry, I'm gonna send this little guy back. And super beautiful fish. I think this other side is just full of spots. Yeah, beautiful fish. I'm gonna let her go. See you later. Wrong way. Well, I got about 45 minutes till dark, and I decided I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna sit in front of a flathead tree where I've caught them before and see if I can get another flathead before we head on off to the truck. All right, so this wood right here that's in the river, I'm gonna fish right below it. Normally I'd like to fish right above the log jams, but I'm gonna fish below. That way I still have a chance of getting into some gar. A couple reasons to normally fish above the log jam for flatheads is it's easier to pull them away from the structure when you get them hooked up, and also whenever you put out your baits, your bait kind of wafts back with them to the with the current, you know. So I got a take on my lightest rod, and I kind of just came off to follow her. I had a boat go by right as this happened, so it might ruin it, but gonna try it either way and try to, unfortunately I don't have a float on here, that's why I put the floats on the other one. That way I could see where my gar was whenever she ran, so I'm gonna have to do this one more by feel. All these bubbles come up. That could be a pretty good sign of a gar that's eating. Whenever they swallow, they will release air, and it can come up just like that. So right now, I'm probably right on top of a pretty decent gar. Oh, she's taking off. Perfect. We're gonna catch this fish. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and set. I don't have that long of a leader and she might eat all of it, so here we go. Okay, so on that last one, I got a little rushed because my leader was short. I made it about half as long as my other ones, which ended up being a massive mistake. I'm not really sure how big that fish was. It still had the bait in its mouth when I set, but it's definitely a gar. Anyway, I'm gonna throw baits back out one more time. I got a really bright light, so who knows? I'm seeing enough like 3 to 4 foot gar where I might just be able to snag one, even though it's, you know, wintertime. Well, I'm back in my car. Hopefully that taught you something, how you can target, you know, catfish and gar at the same time. It definitely is effective. You kind of have to play the water temperatures and figure out exactly which water body is warming up faster than other. Also, another really important thing is the nighttime temperatures. Everybody wants to look at daytime temps, but pretty much if the nighttime temperatures don't go below about 60 degrees, you can catch gar that day, as long as there's not a cold front. So last night was around 65 degrees and I came really close to catching a pretty good gator gar. So I just wanted to take a minute to address just kind of how everything seems really hopeless lately, and how there's a whole bunch of stress and tension around almost everything, and it just seems like one thing after another kind of gets piled on us at this point. And I just want you to remember that your genetics, the people you came from, were survivors and they were tough people, and they got through all sorts of stuff that we couldn't even comprehend without power or without going to a grocery store. And I guess my point is, we're a tough lot, you know, and we can get through almost anything. That said, preparedness goes a long way, so keep in mind that there may be things that you should be a little more prepared with. Hopefully, if you live in Texas, last week's, you know, freeze and power outages and no water taught you that. And if not, you know, hopefully you'll learn soon. I think it's also worth mentioning that if you're watching these videos, you're probably thinking about coming out here and chasing gator gar, which probably means you're a little tougher than most people, probably a little more mental fortitude than your average person. So try to keep in mind that your family members, the people you love, they might not be as strong and they might need extra support. And I know as being the men of a household, it can be difficult to carry all the weight and responsibility of the things we have to do, but also be soft towards our family members. So just want to take a minute to shine a little light on that and be good to your family, be good to yourself, talk nicely to yourself, and understand these are hard times, but there's good times ahead, you know. And I appreciate you guys, and thank you for watching these videos, and I hope y'all have a good one.